What is going on, everybody? I am Mike Hughes. This is Jim Cross. We're back with a couple flamethrowers. We got a second round pick. We got a fifth round pick. We got a couple studs right now. Currently, one is in Florida. The other is in his car. We got a lot of stuff going on today, man. But we are joined by a Miami Marlin and a Tampa Bay Ray. The Rays are on top, and we're gonna get into the Marlins. No shade at all. I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say right now. But that's the importance of this episode. We're gonna learn about the future. We have Aiden May and Jacob Kmatz. Fellas, how we doing today?
Doing fantastic. Can't complain.
Doing awesome.
Now, Jacob, I'm going to start the show a little different because I didn't know something going into this show. I feel like I always find out later after the fact. Let me see your finger, man. Oh!
We're all the way in.
Oh, he's all the way in. Chat, he's locked in. Chat, he's locked in. Jim, what number is that on guests who are soon to be or already married?
Bro, it's like 40. I just look. I'm glad.
Your age, bro. Damn.
Hey, look, Mike. I'm just glad that I talked to all these guys. More than acquaintances, but not quite at the friend level to where I gotta buy them all gifts. You know what I mean? Other than Brock Wilkin for his baby, and that's my dude. Other than that, I've been able to save my money. You know what I mean?
And did you find it interesting? Brock Wilkin was trending the other day, brother. I saw him on social media handing out signed gloves and merch, man. Where's my gloves, man?
He sent that dude a DM. He didn't believe that it was really Brock Wilkin. And I said Brock could at least put his shirt on before he sent him a picture of himself.
Man, do you want to talk about the dough situation? Do you want to talk about that on air, or do you want to?
Let's do it, fellas. Look, check this out. So I got Dolander's autograph on a poster right behind me. You'd think I would look, but I ordered this card. It's authenticated even. And I sent it to Doe, and he goes, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. That's not my signature. So we start talking about it. So I sent it to the seller, and he says, it's been authenticated. It's his signature. I don't know who's telling you that. I said, Chase Dolander's telling me that. He's still arguing me, man. It's Chase's signature according to him, and Chase is telling me it's not. This is wild. So obviously I'm going to have to report it. Chase is pissed because there's multiple from this card and from this place. So their ass might be fixing to get sued, Mike.
Man, your ass was grass at that point.
Maybe he forgot that day.
Maybe he did. I mean,
he changed up his signature one day.
But I didn't catch it. Look, it says CS7, and I thought exactly what you thought. I thought maybe he was trying to do something fancy because his actual signature is chicken scratch and ugly. Me and Mike talked about it with him on the show, and so I thought maybe he was just trying to do something. And he said, bro, I'm not even number 7. Why would I have a reason to put number 7 on there? So I don't think it's his. I think they got caught.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
But at least it was a card that I didn't pay much for. Mike, if it would have been that Charlie Condon, Dylan Cruz, dual autos, with the golden spikes, much I paid for that, I'd have fought somebody.
Oh, man, it would have been over, bro. You would have found out. You would have looked at the packaging and found out where it was shipped from. You would have been right down there.
Back, though, since I brought that up to you boys, I outbid Dylan Cruz's dad. I texted him and showed him I had it, and I didn't know that was who I was outbidding. And he was like, that was you mother. And I was like, my bad, bro.
Man, look, hey, you know how he knows how to make it up to us, man. Let's have him and Dylan on the show, and maybe we'll ship that card out. But boys,
he can actually beat you in the F-bomb competition.
I believe it. The swag Dylan holds, and I don't think I've said one yet today. But boys, first I want to check in with you guys. Jacob, you talked to me a little bit about it behind closed doors. Where are you right now, man? Give me a little POV of what the offseason is.
Yeah, I'm in good old Port Charlotte on the balcony right now, nice and sunny, some palm trees. A little different than New Mexico, where we just came from, but had a little early pitching camp, and we're out here until spring training and affiliate ball and everything.
I'm digging it. Now, one question for you, because sometimes it's different. So I remember 2016 when the Cubs were hot, and all them boys got down there damn near in January. Is there anybody around in the facility so far that the viewers, listeners will be like, dang, he got there mad early? Are we seeing any stars in the building, or is it just a bunch of the young guys just trying to meet each other for the first time?
I mean, it's a lot of the prospects, but I mean, names that you're going to know, like Carson Williams, Xavier Isaac, Trey Morgan, a lot of the top prospects. So it's like a lot of the dudes are here. I think a lot of the hitting guys have been here for about a month since the dead period was over, and then all the pitchers are rolling in. But yeah, a lot of rehab guys. So not too many of the big leaguers yet, but I mean, it's a young team. Who knows who the Rays are putting out there this year? They always surprise everybody. So maybe some of those prospect guys are going to be there this year. Who knows?
I mean, you're going to be one of those guys that you're going to develop.
I'm here for it, man. Hey, let me find out Christopher Morel's in the building.
Look, Mike, you know how the Rays went.
I haven't seen him.
Jacob's going to be elite and then traded off.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, Florida's not bad. I don't know. Who knows? Just get me in the bigs. That's awesome.
How about you, Aiden, man? What you up to, bro? Where you at?
I'm in Tampa right now. I'm just, trying to enjoy some warm weather, like Jacob said, and I'm here training for the week, getting my body acclimated to, sweating again finally, and I'm just enjoying it. I mean, it's beautiful out here. It was kind of funny driving down, though. We were going through northern Florida, and there was snow in the banks, and I'm like, what the heck? This isn't supposed to be here. And so it's been good, enjoying the warm weather, and just throwing bullpens, getting acclimated, and I'll be reporting next Monday. So it'll be here before I know it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, Jim, before we get into everything tops, there's something else coming up. That's not just spring training, but almost just as important if you're Mike Hughes. We got the show 25 coming out, and we were going to talk to you guys a little bit earlier today about, out of the 3 candidates that are rumored to be potentially on the cover, which one do you guys think deserves it? Now, today, the show said fuck our show and decided that they were going to just drop all 3 of them. That's decided what they're going to do. So you have Ellie De La Cruz, Ellie De La who? Bats 180 at Wrigley Field. Not worried about it. Don't know who that guy is. We got Paul Skeens, friend of the show, friend of the pod. Appreciate him. We got the Rookie of the Year, Jackie Robinson Award winner. Then we got, obviously, forgetful, Gunnar Henderson. We ain't forgetting about Gunnar. Gunnar with 37 bombs this year, 100 RBIs. So let me ask you guys this. Out of Gunnar Henderson, Paul Skeens, and Ellie De La Cruz, who do you think you would take off that list and add somebody else? Or do you think it's perfect? Do you think it's a perfect list?
I gotta say this. I think, in terms of talent, he deserves to be on there, but you gotta take Skeens off and put in Bobby Witt, so you got the 3 shortstops cover, right? Because that would just be, the best marketing. You got your 3 shortstops. I feel like Skeens either got to be on by himself or with the other 2. It's kind of strange.
Aiden, clearly you didn't watch the intro of Paul Skeens striking out Bobby Witt Jr. No, sir.
Well, of course. That's what I'm saying. It should have been Skeens just by himself. But if you're gonna do the shortstops, you got to commit all the way to the shortstops.
I get you. I feel you. I'm with it.
I'm so here with it. What a guy. Aiden, let me tell you something, bro. I don't care what the future holds for you. I am a fan of Aiden May just because of that comment. Because we have the biggest Bobby Witt Jr. hater in this very stream right now, and that is Jim Cross. So shout out to
First of all, you see me wearing the Chinook. You see me wearing the Chinook. Bro, he's on the bag of the company that I'm invested into and sponsor of our show. Man, I can't hate on him too much. And I do like that we were talking weddings earlier. He did his wedding invitations via baseball cards. That is elite.
Come on, bro. Come on. Then what's the hate, Jim? Then what's the issue?
I didn't know. All I did was say Skeens owned his ass. That's just all I said.
All I'm saying is he's the fucking MVP. And let me really quick, Jacob, before we get into your answer, because this is the type of shit that'll piss me off in the offseason. And what the motherfuckers do is they do this shit in January, so they think I forget about it come March, April. Man, I saw MLB Now's top 10 shortstops. Number 1, why the fuck is Mookie Betts at 5? The man's played 80 games at shortstop. I don't know how he's a top 5 fucking shortstop. 2, Bobby Witt Jr. was ranked 4th. I don't know how Bobby is 4th when you finish 2nd or 3rd in MVP. But whatever, I digress. But whoever made that list, please.
Who was ahead of him?
It was
obviously was
Gunnar was 1.
Gunnar, yeah.
Gunnar was 1. They had Francisco Lindor at 3, and I forget who they had at 2. But it was just it was recency bias.
It was funny because Jacob, I was scrolling the stream. I didn't have my volume up because I was at the park, and I just see Mike. I don't even hear his words, but I know how upset he is, and the list is on the side, so I know what he's talking about.
All right, I got the list. Here we are. MLB Now's top 10 as of right now. They had to make that clear and say as of right now because it's tomorrow. It's fucking wrong today. What are we talking about? It was wrong yesterday. It was wrong today. You got Gunnar Henderson at 1, Corey Seager at 2, Francisco Lindor at 3, Bobby Witt Jr. at 4, Mookie Betts at 5. I'm a dot. You guys see it. I'm dripped out in Cubs. How the fuck Dansby Swanson is at 6 is beyond me. Respectfully, you catch the ball, that's about it, brother. Couldn't hit water if you fell off the Titanic on a 1912 crisp April night. Whatever. But anyways, you got Bobby at 4, And then you have Carlos Correa at 7. Ellie De La Cruz is at 8. The cover of the show is at 8. Then we got Willie Adames and Trey Turner at 10. Listen, I'm not even – first of all, I want to say this. And shout out to our Philly guys. Fuck Philly. But Trey Turner is the man, bro. I don't know.
You hit your over in this segment. I just want you to know that.
It's fucking stupid. It's fucking horrible. But that's just that I needed to get that out.
Mike, I got to tell you, speaking of, these guys got to hear this because Aiden's been on with Daniel. So Daniel was just, man, he was pulling his best Mike Hughes impersonation tonight.
Oh, no.
And I texted him. I was like, hey, bro, like, you want to cut down on that potty mouth? And he's like, you don't never say nothing to Mike. And I was like, it's Mike's show.
Because we're going to tell Mike.
This is my show.
I ain't going to – you just going to make it worse. But, Jacob, how about you, man? Do you think this is a clean cover or could it have been better?
I mean, I think it's pretty – nope, they've never done one like this. No. So they've never done anything with more than one person. I guess they did what in 17 with Judge and Griffey or something like that. Judge was 18, 19,
that was like
too.
the,
I don't know. There was one year where it was double, but there was 2 different versions. But, like, I don't know. You could make a case for all 3 of those guys. Mm-hmm. I got to go with the man Skeens because he's a pitcher. Like, you got to keep him on there. And then Ellie De La Cruz is electric. But I feel like if you have to take one off, it's I don't know. But if you're trying to grow the game, you got to have Skeens and Ellie on there.
For sure. See, my personal thing is I'm taking off Ellie. I love Ellie, but what we saw in 23 wasn't what we saw in 24. And I think for me, like Aiden said, I'm totally cool with the idea of having 3 shortstops on there if that's what you're going to do. But if you're trying to grow the game, I don't know how you don't talk about Bobby Witt Jr. Like I'm not going to sit here and say Pete Crow Armstrong deserves to be on the cover, but you know what I mean? Like is there a huge difference between PCA and Ellie De La Cruz? And I just don't see it quite yet. So about Bobby Witt Jr., it's a big difference. A Gunnar Henderson, 37 homers. I mean, what are we talking about? But Jim, it's your time to shine, baby. What's going on in the Topps world?
It's off being graded, but I gotta show my Aiden May Topps first bowman 1 of 499.
Okay.
No beard. Ooh.
I know it's different. They faked it. That card's fake too.
And that's really what comes down to the Dolander problem, Mike. He doesn't have a Topps first bowman, so get it together, Doe. Him, Condon, and Burns are the 3 guys that I got of that other brand. But I try to get these, collect them all the guests. So Aiden, I got yours. It's being great. It should come back a perfect 10, of course. It was in
money.
But I wanted to ask you guys, we see all these guys doing these card rips. Everybody's getting into it. Not even just looking for themselves, but guys they know, or even just hitting the jackpot on some of these cards. Starting with you, Jacob, do you do it at all, or have you tried it?
Not recently. I've thought about getting into it. I was big into it when I was growing up. I've got probably close to 15,000 cards at home in New Mexico, but I don't know. I got to high school, I just kind of stopped. But
girls,
I'd be into it for sure.
Well, I mean, I think the whole reason it's funny because I think the reason it became a thing was this whole Paul Skeens patch card, and I am one of those conspiracy theorists. They haven't shown this kid. There's no pictures of him or anything. I don't think some 11-year-old kid pulled it. I'm be honest. I think they had it all along, and it worked because they had guys like me who didn't collect cards who now pulling left and right trying to find this card. And then next thing you know, I'm pulling guests, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to start collecting them all. So, like, I don't know, Mike, do you think 11-year-old pulled it, or you think they had it the whole time?
I think an 11-year-old pulled it, bro. I think you're tweaking. And I think the reason you don't see it is because, like, bro, like, you got a bunch of weird old men in this world, man. And I think all of them would start going to 11-year-old classrooms looking for this kid to try to steal that card. So, of course, you're not – it's the same thing, when a guy wins a lottery, you don't typically see him or his face. And they started doing that because – especially when you're in Chicago, people find out you got $1 million. You quickly no longer have $1 million. You about to hit the reboot card on a motherfucker.
Everybody was surprised. Let's say the kid is real. They were surprised that he didn't take the deal, but he lives in California, so tickets. And look, I mean, not everybody's just infatuated with Livy Dunn. So sitting in the booth with her may not be his thing. Hey, he's 11. He might not even like girls yet for all I know.
What did I tell you if I found the card? I said, you could have the date with Livy. I just want the card. It's cool with me. Like, I'm good, bro. But look, I think for me, man, what pissed me off the most was, I'm watching Yamamoto and Shohei and Roki and Glasnow and all these other free agents, or either free agents or just traded for, go to the Dodgers to find out that this kid is likely a Los Angeles Dodgers fan. just makes me sick, bro. Like, like you telling me the kid on 35th and Shields couldn't have found this? I mean, the White Sox fan base needs something. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I mean, shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can't. They get everything, brother.
But
And to
now to ask
that
Aiden,
point,
have you done it yet?
I mean, I've been opening Bowman a lot, but I didn't do it this year. Last year I got a box and I opened it. You know, I've got some cards laying around, but this year I haven't opened it. You know, I might have to get into there because it's a fun little hobby. It just gets expensive. You know, if you don't find the one you're looking for, you just want to go right
That's why I
back. You know.
started. That's why I started bidding on the ones I want on eBay and just finding the guys. And so the goal was to get every single guest that has a first Bowman. I am only because I got Hagen Smith yesterday. So Mike, I'm only Paul Skeens, and the reason I haven't bought one is because you can't find one for less than like $500. It's an actual numbered refractor signed, and then Christian Moore, which is the same thing. As a matter of fact, Mike, Christian Moore's cost just about as much as Paul Skeens. It's just crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. It's even crazier because I hate both of those organizations, but they are such amazing people. But look, man, look, I'm not Jim. I don't got the first Bowmans that are going to be worth hella money, but I did get some that I wanted to show on the show today. I got Summertime in the Park and Let Him Cook. Some of my favorite guys, you know, I had to bring it on here. Got a little Ronald action, you know, It's a little some. And then Jim, the greatest card you're ever gonna see in your entire existence. I got his dad too. Crazy as pause. But you know, it's got a little swag to it. It's got a little swag to a little Let Him Cook. And then we got Fernando Tatis Jr. And I love it. And it's so
Are any of those cards better than the Pete Crow Armstrong that I pulled autograph that I sent you? That's all I want to know.
I don't know.
See, that's the thing, boys. I could have sold this. I pulled it, and my first thing was, man, I got to send this to Mike ASAP.
Shout out PCA. I remember when I drove.
Now when he pulls a big card, though, he's got to return the favor in the future.
Hey, 100%. You know what I found out the other day though about these cards, man? I pulled the Pedro Martinez signed 1 of 50. So I go to the card store. I'm chopping it up for a little bit. And I find out, yeah, man, it's on eBay. It's worth 300, man. What do you think I could get for it here? He's like, oh no, that's only if it's 1 out of 10. You know, you got 25 out of 50. So best I do is like $80. I was like, man, that's fucking Pedro Martinez, bro. I ain't giving you no fucking $80 for no. I'm keeping it. So
those numbers mean something. That I don't have a Skeens autograph like I told you, but I pulled a 1 of 10 refractor and got it sent off. But supposedly because it's actually number 1, it's double than if it was like number 5. So I don't know. All that stuff's crazy. I don't pretend to be that nerdy, but like, hey, if I get one that says number 1 on it, I'm gonna get extra excited.
Oh no, 100%. So, Jim, do you want to get into these fellas about draft day? I know that's your favorite part.
No, man, I don't care about none of that. No. Let's start Aiden, man. You know, draft day comes around. Some guys like to be surrounded by a bunch of people, be in a public setting. Some guys, man, just want to be at home with their family. What was that day like for you? And just talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just there with my mom and my dad, and we were kind of just, waiting around, watching the draft, just, eating some good food and hanging out for the day. And honestly, like, the actual draft day, it was stressful, but it wasn't, like, very hectic because all of your calls and everything is, like, before that. And then on the day it comes, it's kind of just waiting. And so, honestly, like, I didn't hear a whole lot throughout the day. It was pretty quiet, just some things here and there. And then, like, maybe 5 minutes before my pick came up, I got the call and it's like, hey, the Marlins want to take you here in the second round. And I said, sure, let's roll. And besides that, there really wasn't much else. It was a really fun process. You're sitting there kind of worried. You got your expectations for the day. And then once it finally sets in, it's a pretty cool feeling. I feel like it didn't even set in for, even the next couple of days after that. But it was pretty cool once you finally realize, like, damn, my dream just came true. Like, now I get to go chase what I wanted to do, and you're in a good position. So it was a sweet feeling.
Yeah, no doubt. Outside of we were just talking about Skeens and asking him himself, but man, you had a teammate go number 1. What was that like?
I mean, it was really cool leading up to the draft. Like, we were talking to Travis quite a bit, and obviously just to know Travis personally, like, he deserves everything that came to him. I mean, he's such a hard worker, and he earned every bit of it. And so it was really cool to see that come to fruition. You hear all year, like, oh, he could go 1. And then finally, like, once that pick's locked in, you're like, it's cool to see that, and really awesome for a guy as good of a person as he is to experience that.
Yeah, no doubt. So for you, Jacob, we talk about it. You see Travis go, you see Aiden go. You know, you're a baller. Your time's coming, man. What was that day like for you?
I mean, personally, I got more pumped up for Trav and Aiden than when my name was called. But, um, but yeah, mine was a little different than Aiden's. It started, I guess, mine was day 2, and went to the facility in the morning. Went back home with my family. I guess my now wife and her family. And so we were all together, and then we were watching it. And within the matter of probably 10, 15 minutes, calls back and forth of probably 4 different teams. Through the agent and I, and back and forth and whatever. And so, and then finally it was like, all right, they're taking you right here for, whatever. And then it came a lot quicker than I was expected. And my brother sitting next to me and Aiden were both on the MLB draft tracker. And my brother looks at me, and right when I see him look, Aiden's texting me congrats. I'm like, it already happened. And then I look up and it's like, okay, there we go. But yeah, it was an awesome feeling though. Like Aiden said, like, it's dreams as
Is
kids,
it
and
more
then you
exciting
go,
or
yeah.
stressful that way when you don't have it like Aiden when he said he knew in advance and you're waiting? Like, is that stressful or is it actually exciting?
Well, I did know, but it was like literally the second before, so I thought I had a little more buffer time. I thought the pick was in like 3 or 4 picks, but it was right away.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like stressful, but I also knew like whatever happens, it's gonna happen, and the way things are going, like I'm gonna get picked here soon. So either way, we're going to whoever, and I'm happy with where I ended up. But um, it was an
Yeah.
awesome feeling.
Yeah, 100%. You should be, bro.
Mhm.
Like that's like for you. Does that go into your mind about like, listen, I gave Skeens a lot of shit about going to Pittsburgh. And recently, Jim, to that point, I told him, like the Garrett Cole situation, kind of being like, man,
He's
like
never coming back on this show after the way you told him
I
he was
love,
going to get Garrett cold and he was going to get used up
no,
and kicked out.
but what I meant by that was like sometimes you go to an organization that historically just one doesn't develop well, or two, they don't pay respects to the guys who have kind of earned their way through the league. So like for you to go to the Rays, an organization that's just pumping out prospects and pumping out arms, like was that exciting for you to know that you're going to be working with that pitching staff down there?
Yeah, for sure. And they've been great so far. And going into the process, it was kind of like that was a team that I really wanted to go to. Obviously, you don't get a much of a choice. But just everything I've heard and everybody around the league, like the Rays are known for developing people, and that's what they drill into your heads here. It's like we're not buying, like we're investing our money and everything into the players and the development system and the nutrition and sleep and
Mhm.
hydrate, all that, the base level stuff, and they just hammer that into your heads. Like this is what we do, and it kind of
Yeah.
becomes the identity of the, I guess the organization. And so I couldn't be happier at this point. And obviously I haven't been in it all the 29 other um, teams, organizations. Obviously, hear a little bit about the Marlins, but I'm pumped to be where we're at.
For sure.
For me, Mike, like Aiden kind of touched on this. I don't care what it is. I'd want to make it to the bigs. I don't care what uniform I'm wearing at the end of
Sure.
the day because the goal is to be there. Obviously, there's places you would rather be, but man, it doesn't matter. You're talking about Miami or Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
definitely.
No, for sure. Now, I do have a question for both of you that I think is really rare. When especially in this kind of season, you guys have to go to the randomest of places for spring training more times than not. Like I'm talking to my guys Brandon Birdsell, I'm talking to Ben Brown about Mesa, Arizona right now. Man, we play in Chicago, bro. I don't know nothing about Arizona. So for you guys being in Florida, both you right across the pond, Tampa, Miami. They got 305, might be a little more swaggy, but Tampa's got some nice cool areas. But the fact that you guys are already in Florida and you get a chance to be hopefully where you're going to end up for years to come. How much of a benefit is that for you guys to be able to just kind of explore? And my second part is, did you see Jim Cross walking around in his up costume with his lovely wife at Disney World?
You can go
All
ahead,
right,
Aiden.
let's
It's been
start.
a
Let's
while.
start with that. I did not see him, but I wish that I did. That would be a prime benefit to being in Florida.
Look,
But
I'll be honest with you guys. Like,
The big ass glasses, boy.
she asked me, and I did it, and the points that I earned. But I'll be honest, Mike. Walking around having everybody compliment my outfit, was not. I mean, I loved it, man. I started to get it. You already know I got an ego, Mike, but man, I started to realize I was like, man, there's thousands of people in this park, and I'm the best looking person here. That's never happened before.
Man, we're gonna get back to the boys because fuck all that. I didn't want to hear all that.
No, I gotta show them now because you brought it up. Look,
he was feeling himself. He was feeling himself. That's all. That's all that was happening.
Man just told me he's dressed better than the mouse himself. That's crazy.
Man. Look at me.
There we go.
Dapper. Look at that boy.
Hater.
Oh, man.
You're a hater.
Hey, you know what? We're going back to Aiden. Aiden, how's it feel being in 305, man?
Yeah, it's great. Like Jacob said, we're from New Mexico, which nobody really knows shit about New Mexico, but I'll tell you guys a little bit. It's dry, it's cold, and the elevation, your pitches don't move at all. And so coming down here is like a dream come true for us. Your arm starts to feel good. You know, you get out of the cold weather, you know, just the humidity, like all your joints start to, you know, start moving a little better. And then you throw a slider or something and it moves twice as much. And you're like, all right, this is just better all around. And so, I mean, to come down here, it's great. And then what you're talking about in the future of, you know, getting to get acclimated to this environment is pretty sweet. I mean, like you said, Mesa ain't nothing like Chicago. So at least we're getting a little bit accustomed to what to expect. I guess the only difference is what I'm hearing or what I'm going to assume is I'll probably start in high A, which for the Marlins is in Beloit, Wisconsin, which is just about the farthest place you can get from Miami. So
hey, I'll visit you, brother.
You know.
I'll visit you. I promise I'll visit you.
Okay, there we go. Then I'll have a fan in the stands.
All right.
You might be the only one that stands when it's cold out there.
No, like you'll probably have one fan in that stand. One. Like when I was down in Iowa, bro, in Des Moines, just to see PCA and the boys, man, like that shit was. I mean, hey, look, good crowd always came out, but
I think that's so advantageous when we talk to a lot because you know all the guys that we have on here are guys that we've obviously had on and off the bench, and that's always elite caliber players at elite programs. And so y'all played at Oregon State where you're going to have a packed house, and all the guys have came on and just talked about how much pressure is taken off because you go from having 10,000+ people to just 20 people maybe at certain games, and how that just can make things easier. So, I mean, do y'all feel like that'll be, advantageous, just having that pressure taken off? Because at Oregon State, man, there's obviously winning is a priority, and you're a program that's expected to go to Omaha on a regular basis. So do y'all think that'll help?
I guess I'll say I personally, I would say that yes, before I experienced it, but I was listening to some podcast. I think Jake Cronenworth was talking, and it's like getting into the playoffs and playing in those environments is like a drug that you get there and you experience it under that pressure and you want it so bad that you're fighting all year to get back to that point. And for me, that's kind of that point. So I don't know. I like those big games and the big crowds way more than I do like pitching in the FCO games where they're rolling innings and there's like zero adrenaline. But I mean, either way, it's baseball. You're playing professional baseball and getting those experiences. Like there's going to be plenty of fun times. Obviously, Beloit's going to be a little bit different than being down here right now. But yeah, I guess either way, the playoffs is kind of where you want to be. So
for sure.
That pressure feels good.
I agree with that. I think it's kind of that double-edged sword of like you get that pressure taken off, and so then it gives you the space to be able to just be confident in yourself. You've dealt with all these emotions, you've dealt with all the pressure, and then just move forward. And like Jacob was saying, then it gives you something to work towards. You're like, well, shoot, I don't have the pressure anymore. I like being in those pressuring environments. And so then you start to work more towards getting to the big leagues, getting in the top end places and, places you really can't experience outside of college baseball until you get to the MLB and you get to the playoffs.
Can I ask you something, Aiden, really quick?
Yeah.
So dude in my chat said, I know nothing about baseball and that I should never talk about it again because in a video I said the MLB. And now I just heard a Major League Baseball player call it the MLB. Do you think, actually, is it I watch MLB or I watch the MLB? Because this guy's telling me, bro, there is no the Major League Baseball. And I was like, bro, but it's just the abbreviation, bro. It's not that deep. And he was like, nah, bro, never watch the sport again. So can I hear it from the actual athlete himself? Is the MLB acceptable?
100%. I mean, I've said that since I'm a kid. I mean, like the MLB is the way to go. It isn't like phonetically correct, I guess, if you want to say, but it's 100% acceptable. I mean, if you walked around and you just said MLB, like that, it doesn't sound right to me. It comes off the tongue a little weird. It's a little iffy. I
Sound a
don't
little
know.
hard.
Mike,
I'm all in on that.
we were starting to talk about these environments, and I got to thinking about it. Hey, do you remember the 10-leg parlay that I had in college baseball in the regionals in 2023, where I told you LSU cost me $7,000 on a $20 bet?
Yeah.
It was these assholes. Look, in regionals, LSU had to beat y'all, had to cover 1.5, only beat y'all 6-5 because y'all had to play so good at Alex Box. Speaking of environments, anyway, could have made $7,000. Y'all couldn't lose by more than one run.
You never count out the Beavs. That's all I gotta
Never.
say. The
Hey,
Beavs are always
And
coming.
it was tough because Braden Joe Bear is my boy. So when he hits that bomb to go ahead and then the game ends, I was trying to be excited, but I was like, man, I just could have had $7,000. And the crazy part was, so I had 10-leg parlay, and everybody's like, you bet too many games. I'm like, LSU was the first one I put on there. It wouldn't matter how many I bet. I bet my team out the gate. So like,
yeah, you were gonna do that one no matter, even if it was a single or not. But it ain't never. You remember when I was coaching high school baseball for my old team,
Yeah.
2021 and 2022. Man, I had this 19-legger, bro. I mean, I was doing it. I was in the fucking lab. I was in the car parking lot waiting for these umpires to fucking show up 30 minutes late just so they could botch the game. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I got some nice shit. I got dudes hitting bombs. I got dudes swiping bags. Everything. I'm talking about everybody and their mama cashed out for me. The last one I had, prime Yu Darvish on the Padres against the dog shit Cincinnati Reds before Ellie De La Cruz. All he had to do was get the dub, and they fucking clobbered him and put up 10 runs in the first 3 innings. And I was sick to my fucking stomach. Yu Darvish, if I ever fucking see you, I promise you, we gonna have words. Now he don't speak much English, so I don't know what kind of words we're gonna have, but we're gonna have them. All right, there's gonna be a lot of Google Translate. But look, man, we got a lot of stuff going on for you guys, man, and I'm curious before we get into this or that, and we got a few other stuff that I think Jim wants to roll out. But you guys are already in Florida today. I got a 2-parter for both of you. We'll start with Jacob. Who is somebody you've learned from so far that you've just been a sponge of, that's been really helpful for you and just getting back to basics, trying to evolve into the best version of yourself? And then 2, say you roll into spring training, we see some big dogs in the room. You know what I'm saying? Who are you excited to learn from at some point down the line, whether that's single A, double A, all the way to the majors?
Yeah. I guess to start, like, I learned a lot from Henry Bonilla. I think he maybe pitched a year or 2 in the bigs, but he's one of the coaches down here, and he's been awesome, and he's been huge to just pick his brain and everything about him. And I mean, they've got, it seems like a 2-to-1 ratio, coach to player ratio, so on the side. So there's never a dull moment on that front. But learning from every coach here has been awesome. And then I guess on the other side of things, there's a lot of comparisons, I guess similarities with Taj Bradley and then Rasmussen, being an Oregon State guy. Met him once down in the fall when we went to a game at the Trop, but maybe get around those guys, see what they've got, kind of see what they do well, and their journeys and everything like that. And obviously got to hang out with the Beavs, so gotta build a good relationship there. But yeah, I'm really curious to just see what their journey was like, what every step along the way, and maybe get some good tips here and there.
For sure. Aiden, how about you, man?
I haven't had a ton of exposure to a lot of different people around, but somebody that I've learned a lot from is the big league analytics guy for the Marlins. His name is Brandon Mann. They actually sent us down to the Dominican Republic, and he was down there too. And so I got to have a good conversation with him and learn a lot and kind of, tinker with my arsenal a little bit. And then, somebody that I'd love to learn from is obviously the Marlins have Sandy Alcantara, who's like, former Cy Young winner. You gotta listen to what that guy has to say. But just a lot of people. I think just being around a lot of those guys during spring training is going to be fun. Pick their brain a little bit, talk through them, and maybe even past just the baseball side of it. Hearing some stories, because a lot of those big league stories are pretty fun.
Dude, I think there's some that we'll hear that we probably won't be able to share on this show. That's
Of course.
Those are the ones.
That's what I'm banking on.
Yeah, the ones where he says you can't repeat this. That's the ones you want.
Of course. That's the good stuff right there. Yep.
Man, I could only imagine. Like, I just think, I didn't play at a level like y'all. I was in a high school football locker room. Like, I can only imagine at a professional level, no matter what sport you're talking about, just the conversations and the stories that go on in a locker room for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean that's the best part of it is just like that camaraderie, that team identity, and people trading stories, people talking in the locker room, having fun. Like that's how you have a good team right there, is when you gel and everyone's loose and easy and just having a good time. Like that's the best way to play baseball, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a bunch of guys. You remember this? We asked the question, Aiden, at the end of every episode: would you rather have $10 million and be the number one overall pick, or win the national championship? And we haven't had a guy yet that didn't say that the national championship there you couldn't put a price on it. Simply had nothing to do with the actual winning aspect. It had to do with the brotherhood of the blood, sweat, and tears the whole season. From the summer to the fall, all the way through. And man, you just all the stuff that y'all get to go through together, man. And I feel like baseball, because it's the longest of the grinds, y'all spend more time together than anyone. So I think it's one of those things, because you talk about the beefs. Like, I mean, you guys, I think y'all are all going to have relationships, whether in the league or not, for a long time. And like, you can't put a price on that. I mean, people thought Skeens was lying to bring him back around, but he said he would give up the number one pick, to keep that national championship. And I was like, if there's anything he's not a liar. I actually believe him. And so I think it's just because he experienced something there at LSU, and you guys know that. I thought, man, last year you guys were going to, be there in Omaha in the end. But I got to ask y'all, because I did see y'all in person in Globe Life Field. I got to ask y'all about Hagen Smith as pitchers, man. Mike, 17 Ks and 6 innings, dude. I've seen some pitching performances. Everybody talks about Rhett Lauder and Paul Skeens in Omaha. I was behind home plate for that. I don't know, guys. Was that the best thing y'all seen from an opposing pitcher that you've ever played against?
It was kind of tough because I was matching up with him, and so I would go back in the dugout and I'd be like locked in to go back out for the next inning. But sometimes I'd kind of like peek up under, check the velo a little bit, and it was tough because I was sitting there. I was like, it's like, damn, he just went through like 3 up, 3 down, and like I was trying to keep pace. I was doing a good job of it, but man, like I was getting tired there for a second. I was like, these innings are quick. I need a little bit more time, get some water or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I told you in real time, I was excited because both starting pitchers being guests of the show, I always root for our guests. But man, like he was just, I had never seen, and it looked so effortless. And the thing was, if it wasn't the first game of the season, guys, you know this, you're on a pitch count. Dave Van Horn's protected him. Like I would like to have seen if he would have, went the whole way, how that would have gone. But obviously, you gotta think long term. But it was just cool to see, and like you said, that getting to see y'all's team, y'all showed throughout the 3 games. Obviously, I watched all 3 of y'all. I really had my money on you guys to be there in the end, but y'all know college baseball, man, it's so hard. And yeah. I got to ask you guys, do y'all think that y'all will pay attention, as much now that you're in the minors heading for the pros? Is it one of those things that you'll continue to watch, not just Oregon State baseball, but college baseball as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this, Aiden and I, probably last week. Was like, we're going to watch so much of it. We're going to watch Wheels like crazy. Like, we're going to be on it on the bus rides, but like we all have our boys at Oregon State still. My brother's a freshman there now, so I got to tune in. And then, we've got guys all over the country. And so it's like, we love baseball. We're going to watch all the time. And I don't know, it's bittersweet because you get to root for the guys, but you also miss it a little bit. And it's like, I would love to be at Oregon State for another year, but I mean, we're gonna be all in on that.
Yeah. One more question about college, because I want to keep asking these pitcher questions. Mike, we were talking to him last night, but Ryan Prager from Texas A&M, drafted the 3rd round. Mike passes on it, says I'm coming back to win a national championship. I know you guys y'all agree and respect that decision. Coming to you, Aiden, like I mean, you're drafted in a similar spot. Like, if you had the team that they had coming back and the opportunity, man, would you do it?
I think it's tough. I mean, Jacob and I had honestly extensive conversations about like, how cool would it be to run it back one more year. And I respect his decision a ton. I mean, I think like A&M's got the right team, and, he's going to be a vital piece of that. I think that it's tough because, in baseball, like your junior year is your draft year. and you lose so much leverage if you go back. You've got to have like an outstanding season, like way better than what you did the year before to get drafted in the same spot. And so I think it's just like, it's betting on yourself in a way. And I don't think like a ton of guys will do it, but I think there will be enough that, it'll show through. And like a guy like him coming back is a big statement for A&M's program, just saying like he believes in them so much that he'd forego his draft to go and try to win a natty with them.
I mean, I think as a team perspective, is because that team's built so well. Like I think they're easily the favorite to win. They're who I think will win. So from that perspective, but it is dangerous, risky as a pitcher, right? Because we were talking their schedule last night. I mean, absolute gauntlet. Like if you go by just the preseason rankings D1 put out, they have 3 weeks in a row where they're playing a top 10 team, and you know how that can go. And like you said, you're already losing leverage going from junior to senior year. So he goes up against the best and gets taxed 3 weeks in a row. We know what that'll look like. So it's definitely risky. But like you said, I respect it, man. Like just because of the answers these guys have said about winning a national championship, he wants to do that with all his boys. They're all coming back, and man, it's hard to not like root for those guys from a perspective of just like all those guys when Coach Early came back in, they took their names out of the portal, joined together, and everything. But I think they'll be there. I think Oregon State will be there. Like, I don't know, guys. Y'all gonna have to find a way if they make it to Omaha, to do what me and Mike were talking about. I seen a couple pros get in there for a game and get out. So
hey, that's all. That's what we're talking about, man. And I think it's always fun to have those conversations later down the line. I think like looking back on it, Chris Bryant being drafted by the Blue Jays said, "Fuck no," and then let's talk about 31st round pick of the Oakland A's. You know who I'm talking about, fellas? Anybody got a name for me? Who we talking about?
31st round.
Aaron Judge.
Club.
Come on, baby. Like Aaron Judge to the A's, 31st round. Fuck out of here. I'm a first rounder, brother. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, man, like that's I think for some people it's like one, I think the degree is everything. I think a lot of guys just want to get that paper, man. And I think it's really important. And also that other paper. We got them NIL deals coming around. And I think, it's sometimes depending where you are, especially in Oregon, come on, stop playing with me. But I think
I'll be honest with you, Mike. Some people, when they talk about NIL, I think the numbers of the football players give a misconception on baseball players.
Sure.
I think, like going back to A&M, Laviolette's the highest paid NIL player. And I've had conversations, I'm not going to put his business street, but he's not making 7 figures like people say he is. And he's the highest. Like there ain't millionaire baseball players like people think. Even Cruz and Skeens weren't. So I think there's this misconception because you see these quarterbacks getting like gaudy numbers of 5 to 10 million. Right. The NIL is that world changing. It's definitely nice.
What was the name? What is it? Money Talks? What was it? LSU, man. Paul Skeens wasn't even on that show. Like, you know what I mean? And that speaks volumes to everything that was going on.
Well, I said this, and guys, this is why I value our show. Like, Paul Skeens, for instance, his episode only had like 3,500 views, maybe like 800 listens, so maybe 4,300 people. If they would listen, they would actually know that Paul Skeens had nothing to do with NIL, and had really the reason it was LSU was when he was the Air Force. Because Cruz took him yard in his first at bat against him, but he pitched in a sold out crowd against LSU at LSU. And after that moment, he envisioned himself playing there. And so that's why it was always LSU. And so I tell people, if that would have been Mississippi State, Oregon State, anywhere, right? Because that was his only big D1 school he ever played against. And I said, I think that just LSU got lucky that they were on the schedule. And so it wasn't about money. It was just about what the kid had envisioned. And so I tell people that they're like, it's not money. And it wasn't because he had some undying love for LSU more than the rest. It was just, man, he visioned himself there. I mean, Mississippi State's the mecca of college baseball, in my opinion. If he would have seen himself, playing there in front of 16,000, he probably would have went there.
For sure. Now I got one more for both of y'all, and then we'll let y'all go. I'm gonna start with Aiden, because man, look, I don't got a lot of questions about the organization or stuff going on, because obviously
wait till he leads Marlins to the promised land. And
that's what I'm saying. That's what we're gonna, he hasn't been there too long, so I'm not gonna hit him with stuff that's like, maybe let me figure it out first, kid. Then I'll answer the question. I don't want to overwhelm him with stuff. But look, I heard the news last year around this time. We got to talk about Fiesta Fridays in the 305. I don't know if you're aware of the Fiesta Fridays in the 305. It started in 2024. We got trumpets. We got all this shit going on in the stands. We got flags flying around, $5 beers all game. You get to dance on the field post game. They're just trying to make it more of a fun environment. So for you, man, I know I'm just like throwing this at you right away, but Fiesta Fridays, man, how exciting is that to kind of hear that they're trying to bring a little bit more of a college atmosphere into Major League Baseball?
Oh, I mean, it's awesome. Like, I think that they need to, especially being in Miami, like they got to lean hard into the just the culture down there. Like, I don't know if you guys have been seeing on Twitter all the Dominican Winter League stuff that's been going on today.
Yeah. Saw the fight.
But
Saw
like,
the fight.
oh, crazy stuff. I mean, just all kinds of stuff and just the atmospheres and everything. We went down, like I said, to the Dominican Republic a little bit, and we went to some of those games, and those environments were unreal. I mean, horns blasting, cowbells, people going crazy. And like, if you can take some of that culture that's like in Miami and put it into a baseball game, I feel like Marlins games would be, unreal. It would be one of the places to play. Like, you hear about like, going to play in Philly or going to play in New York or LA, like the big places. I feel like Miami could do something unique with that. And like what you're saying with Fiesta Fridays, like that would be pretty sweet. And I'm looking forward to everything that they're doing. I think the org's in a good spot, and hopefully they take it away.
What an answer until he said the big places and just left out.
Hey, Mike, I'll tell you what.
And Wrigley. All right.
Oh,
Hey.
thank you. That's so generous. How do you? What?
Hey, Mike, Jacob on his way up. I'll tell you this, Jacob. Man, I went to Montgomery a couple times to watch the Biscuits play, and then even watched them when they visited Rocket City. First of all, Montgomery, their environment, their fans come out. They do a lot of awesome promos. I love the Biscuit logo, the hashtag Butter Up. But then, that rivalry they got with Rocket City, like when you get to Double-A, you're going to really like it. Like, Mike, there's something to be said when you got 5,000-6,000 people coming to a Double-A game, because there's really only a few teams that can have that claim.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, Jacob, talk about the DR a little bit. This question, is kind of just my own personal. I want to know, how excited are you to see a future DR legend? We got Junior Caminero coming into the building sometime very soon. I even got you don't have to, you don't have to get signed for me, but I'm just letting you know it's right here. It's right here. I'm just saying. But no, I'm playing. But one, is he in the building? Two, how excited are you to just kind of see live at bats from him thus far? Because that's what I geek out over. I love going down to Iowa or wherever to see the PCAs of the world, the Matt Shaws. Do you get excited about guys who you're going to be able to play alongside with?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Caminero was the one that hit the homer last night that put the team ahead in the game 7. So it's like, if he was here today, I don't think he should be. He just won literally the World Series of the Winter League, so he's got to enjoy it with those boys. But no, I'm excited to see all those guys, and I mean, just learn from big leaguers, see what they do. Like, you don't have to always talk to them. You just look at what they're doing, their routines, and the way they carry themselves, and then obviously facing them too. Like, you want to punch out some big leaguers, and that makes you feel pretty like you're ready for the bigs already. But so I guess, yeah, talking to those guys and just seeing what they do, that's the main thing. All of it. And I guess like McClanahan, like he's going to be healthy this year, like being able to watch him throw some bullpens, like that's going to be pretty awesome. And just picking their brains and looking at all their TrackMan data for sure.
And
all the
that's Mike's
TrackMan
favorite
data.
thing. Mike loves to talk to guys. Like, we're talking to y'all now, but we've had guys that came on like this, and then we had him on a year later that we've had on recently, and he's talked to who they've talked to over the last year. And his favorite thing is just who you're learning from, because that's why he referred to it as a sponge. Because some guys, man, they'll take it all in, everybody they talk to. And I think those are the guys, when you talk about doing what it takes to go to the next level, if you're talking and actively listening to these guys who have made it to the next level, like then you know the way. But I did have one more question for both of y'all. I got to thinking about it, Mike, with Landon Sims and Dolander talking about it, and we having 2 pitchers on. Aiden, start with you. More time to really work on your mechanics and change up some things if need be, or even add an extra pitch, because they said time slows down now. You have more time to work on that. Has that been a case for you?
Yeah, definitely. Like Jacob and I, right after we got drafted or right after we got back after our short little stint of a season, we looked and we said, damn, we've got more time than we've ever had. I mean, usually at this time you're playing fall ball games or you're doing whatever. And we had what was that, 5 months? And so you look and you just go, shoot, like it's almost too much time. You got to figure out all right, what do I really want to focus on? What are my specifics? Because you get off on these all right, I got to do this and this and that. And then you start chasing too many things. And so we came up with a really good solid plan.
We actually found out, Aiden, and this may be the case for y'all. We haven't asked. First player shooter games, Mike knows that. Pitchers love to play Call of Duty or Fortnite. We've found that out. Is that the case for you?
It is not, unfortunately.
Neither one of us.
I think if I did, I would probably lose every single time, and I'm not a fan of losing. So we gotta up that if I'm gonna play.
It's you're one of the few. We just figured out that the pitchers like dropping bodies in the spare time.
Oh yeah, no, that is definitely universal.
Sure.
You might have found the only two pitchers that don't do that, because across the board, just about every one of my teammates or guys I've played with, they love ripping Fortnite.
Yeah, so it's definitely cool.
For sure.
That
I think
Joyce
was one of those guys.
Yeah.
Joyce was one of those guys, right, Jim? He wasn't really much into it. He was kind of into it, but kind of one in, 1 foot out.
He wasn't.
And then there's Skeens. He don't want to shoot you in a game. He want to shoot you in real life. He want to be in the military.
Joyce,
like that man's crazy.
Here's what I love about Joyce, though. He's a rare because those Tennessee pitchers are. I've never heard of guys who play more than those guys because Beam claims to be the Fortnite king, Dolander on Call of Duty. Joyce is in the damn weight room while these guys are like. I've never seen a pitcher work out the way he does. Like, there's videos of that dude doing deadlifts of an ungodly amount of weight. Like, so Joyce is just a different bird altogether.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, he's a good ass Fortnite player too.
Hey,
I just know he throws 100. I know he throws 106. Man, Mike was chomping at the bit to ask him about that smirk he made after he threw it. He was like, "What was going through your mind?" Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, you guys would understand this pitch. It's like, man, when you throw the fastest pitch in the MLB, like, I mean, God, my ego inflated.
You hear what he said? You hear what he said? He said, "The MLB, motherfuckers." That's what he.
There we go. It's settled. It's officially settled.
It's what the fuck I'm
Jacob,
talking
if
about.
You want to answer, and then we will we'll shut this thing down. But man, have you gotten time to work on stuff? Obviously, Aiden said y'all worked on some stuff together. But man, has it really helped you to have time slow down and just kind of really go back to working on your mechanics and changing some stuff up if need be?
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, we put a plan together for both of us, and I got a lot of good feedback from the Rays of kind of what they wanted to see coming into this year. And then now, like, being here, he talked about the offseason, but now, like, they just emphasized development to the max. And so obviously, like, winning is a major thing for us. I know that for the last several years, low A, high A, double A has won multiple championships, but it's kind of like throughout the season, they're going to allow you to slow down and understand. And for us, every bullpen that we throw, we have a report afterwards. We sit down, talk about it for about 10, 15 minutes, and then build something for the next time. So you're always constantly trying to work on things. And, like, you're working on the cutter, I was working on the changeup, slider. So all offseason, we were able to have that conversation back and forth and sit down and watch each other's bullpens with the pitching coach back home and just really bounce ideas off of each other. And so when you have more time to do that, it's a lot easier. I know it's tough for the college guys, and when we were doing it, it's like you're going in for a week or two, and then you got to go back to your school. And a lot of college coaches don't use any sort of data. It's just throw strikes, throw a lot of fastballs, even if it's bad. So it's like, we're having that conversation. We have the extended period of time to figure things out, which is huge.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, while we're talking about time, like, it's advantageous that y'all came on here, Mike. I'm a numbers guy, man, and all I'm saying is, with this is our third season to do this. We've already had 7 guys get called to the show. Like, our guys that come on this show, good people, a lot of talent. They always make it. So these 2 will be the next ones too. I'm calling it right now.
For sure.
There we go.
Hey, I mean, a lot of them are knocking on the door, Mike. Yes. I think we'll be able to say
that.
We'll be able to say 15. But I'll tell y'all this: we put the pressure on Condon. Him and Dolander came on here, and Dolander is going to get to start more than likely in Colorado. And so me and Mike, we're going to go watch the Cubs visit Colorado, and it's going to be on August 29th. So we told Condon no pressure because he barely even got to play last year, after they had it all done. So he's probably going to start in high A. And we're like, you got till August 29th to be on the MLB roster. And he was like, you serious? And we're like, man, make it happen.
I'm with it.
Hey, you guys got to come down here for opening day. Opening day at the Rays. Rockies are in town at George Steinbrenner. So that's never going to happen again. You guys
I can do that simply because the host of our other show, he lives in Tampa, so I can go stay somewhere for free. And he's got to hook up on tickets. So, Mike, just meet me in Tampa.
Look, and I don't know if DB will let me stay with him the way he'll let Jim, but it'll be April in Chicago, so I'll figure out a fucking way to get out of here, bro. I'll tell you what. But I'm still stuck on Jim saying he's a numbers guy, but not a fan of Juan Soto and Bobby Witt Jr. I don't whatever. It is what it is. It is.
Oh,
It is what it is.
Let me ask you. I thought we were gonna close this thing down. Is Juan Soto worth the money he's getting paid?
Yes.
No.
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
You can make a
Yes
yes
and no.
either way.
They did overpay for him, but if you are gonna overpay for a player, like Juan Soto's the guy you're gonna overpay for.
Look,
You know,
so my thing, I'm not a hater of Juan Soto. I just said he wasn't worth the money, and Mike's taking that as that I was like hate the dude more than any other player.
Yeah, no, okay, but wait. He said he wasn't worth the money way back in 2021.
He wasn't worth when he got the third highest contract when he was the third best player. That's the way I was looking at it.
Whatever, bro. That man's.
You're just feeling him some kind of way because you went to Wrigley and watched him hit 3 home runs in a game, and now
whoa. That was a Sox game. You ain't do that over here.
Whatever. One of them busted Chicago parks.
Hey man, look, go piss off Nolan Arenado, bro. He wants out of there. But look,
remember,
man,
I'm not a Cardinals fan anymore, man. I have pledged my allegiance to Colorado because there's 5 in off the bench guys on the team.
Whatever. But look, man, Jacob Kmatz, Aiden May, we appreciate y'all being here, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you check them out on all social media platforms. We'll have some videos coming out later today. We'll also be posting those on In Off the Bench YouTube. So make sure you check it out. We've been doing the live thing, not really fucking with it. We're gonna go back to posting every single episode on YouTube. You can also see DB doing whatever the fuck DB's doing. I have no idea what's going on, but he's got me listening. I can see him every single day talking to all these people, lifting weights, doing crazy shit that I have no business doing. You know, I got kidney stones, fellas. I ain't rocking with none of that shit. I don't even stretch right in the morning. But look, man, we appreciate y'all being here. Make sure you check out Give Us a Shot Network if you haven't already. Give us a like, give us a follow. Until then, we'll check y'all out later. Peace.
Give them a shot to do what?